Hello, everyone, and welcome to this video for Men's Minds Matters. I am your host, Aaron Ryder, and today we are going to be going over the another lesson on toxic co-parenting, and this one is called encouraging betrayal. So this occurs when your ex encourages your child to betray you in some way. So let's take a look at what this is and what it means. So the definition is this includes encouraging your child to keep secrets from you or spying on you. Now, these secrets and this spying can take a lot of different forms. One example is that if you move and you tell your child not to tell your ex, that would be an example of encouraging betrayal because your ex should know where you're moving to because your child is moving there with them. So that is something they should know. Or sending your kid in to look at important documents. For example, this often would happen in the case where one parent doesn't feel that they got a good deal on the divorce and in child support. If they're hiding income that the other person would want to know about, and they send the kid in to find those documents. Now, let me just take a quick pause here. If you are hiding documentation that would be relevant to court, that is not ethical in and of itself, and you shouldn't be doing that. However, that's not the focus of this video. The focus is what your child should not be doing and what your ex should not be encouraging them to do. So make sure that you understand the difference. You should not be hiding money in a divorce situation or from the court. That's wrong, it's unethical, and ultimately your child suffers from it. However, your kid shouldn't be a spy either. So what do we not do? First thing is, don't lie. Do not lie to your kids. It is better to just not answer. And boy, that is a hard skill to learn in life. But it is important not just with parenting, but also with life in general. Sometimes it's better to just keep your mouth closed. It is better to not lie or not to say anything than to lie to cover something up. If all else fails, if you don't want to disclose something, you can always go back and disclose it later on. You don't have to do it right then and there. You can simply answer, that is private information, or I would prefer not to say, and leave it at that, which is a far more ethical thing to do than lying about it. You're also teaching your kid an important thing about boundaries. So do not lie to them. Do not take it out on your child. Once again, remember that they are the victim of your ex's schemes. They are not the perpetrator of them. So it's important that you remember to not take it out on your child. So how do you cope with it when your ex has sent your child in to spy on you or is keeping important information from you? The first is to cultivate ethics. And this is also why you don't lie to your kids, right? Because that's what ethics is. I'm going to tell the truth, and I'm going to teach you to tell the truth, and I'm going to teach you to be honest, and I'm going to teach you that spying is not appropriate. There are things that I will not tell kids, but I am not going to lie about what I don't tell them. The next thing is cultivating compassion. Teach your child to be a loving and caring person. And when you are a loving and caring person, they are not going to keep secrets like this from you, and they are not going to spy on you. The next is answer what you can. And I realize that this is a very challenging thing, but remember that as long as you're not lying to them, you can always not say something, but you should say something if you can to reassure the child, especially if a child asks you a very direct question. I know a lot of parents have that line in the sand with difficult situations that they will not lie and they will only answer what they've been asked. And that's okay. It is okay to slowly reveal things and come back and later on reveal things when your child is ready for them. I remember a great example of this in my own father, and my parents weren't divorced, so we didn't have this kind of loyalty thing. But my dad had served in the military, and I had asked him one day about some of the things that he did in the military. And I was rather young and kind of naive, and He looked at me and said, "I'd rather not answer that right now. Ask me again when you're older." Now you better believe that I asked him again when I was old. When I was older, I remember when I turned 18 or shortly thereafter, and I had registered for the draft myself. I went to my dad and I said, "Dad, you told me to ask you later. Now I am 18. I am eligible to serve in the military myself, and that could happen at a moment's notice. So, what was it you told me you didn't want to tell me then?" And my dad was honest. He told me exactly what happened, and it certainly impacted my view of war and conflict. But I'm glad that he waited until he felt that I was old enough to handle it. So next thing is to keep private things private. You do not have to tell kids everything. I think I've said that a couple times, but you really genuinely do not. Keep private things private. So how do we be non-toxic? What do we do to not cultivate the toxicity? Avoid asking your child about their parents unless it is absolutely necessary. And I want to be honest about this. Why would you want to know? The whole point of you being their ex is that you are no longer part of that circus. So put it out of your mind as much as possible. Don't be the snoop. Don't be the gossip. Just put it out of your mind and move on with your life. Also, remind your children that both parents love them and they do not have to take sides in this. That is a huge one because the whole point of a loyalty conflict is to try and get the kids and other people to take sides and remind them that they do not have to take sides. And as they grow and get older, they will figure that out for themselves. If they are curious, they may ask you questions about things, but remind them that some matters, including finances and private matters, are in fact private and they do not have to be answered. And so what do you do, by the way, if your child does ask you one of these private questions and it may be something that they are concerned about that would make them worry? Reassure them in the ways that you can. For example, if you are in a new relationship and this person asks, "Are you going to marry so and so?" And let's be honest, you don't even know yourself. You can say something to your child like, "You know what? That's not something that I'm ready to discuss with you. However, when I am, I will tell you about it. And you need to know that even if I marry someone else, that doesn't mean that I don't love you and that I'm trying to come up with a new family. I want you as part of my family, and I'm not going to make a big step like that unless we have talked about it first." There you go. You didn't tell them where you were at with your relationship, but you reassured them that you love and care for them. And of course, as I mentioned, the older they are, the more you can disclose. And that is true even if you're not in a toxic co-parenting situation. But the important thing is you do not be the portrayer of the betrayal. Never encourage your kids to betray your ex because you do not want them to betray you. That is not ethical behavior, and we want to make sure that we are giving a good example to our kids in what we're asking them to do. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful with this particular issue, and we always encourage you to hit like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to put these videos out and let other people know some of the things that we're working on. Thanks and have a good day.